welcome to the Alex Salmond Show from Scotland's capital city of Edinburgh, one of the greatest places on the planet to celebrate the festive season. Obviously the Hogmanay's, the New Year's are epic here, but the Christmases aren't bad either. And today we've got a Christmas cracker of a show for you. Coming up, one of the men with the most famous Scottish names ever, Jason Connery, the film director. Then Janey Godley, Scotland's most versatile comedienne. And Andrew Fairlie, the man who runs the only 2-star Michelin restaurant in Scotland. He'll be cooking up something special for Christmas. Tasmina Ahmed Sheikh's in the kitchens of the Principal Edinburgh George Street Hotel. She'll be cooking up something special as well. But first, to my favourite part of the show. Let's turn to your tweets and messages. Let's see what you have to say. How are you doing, guys? Andreas,
hi, Alex.
Checking for messages.
You right?
Well, first up is Andrew Cameron from Dundee. Andrew says, great seeing you in your own TV show. Long may it continue, covering good subjects, gay rights, promoting Scotland, etc. UK TV stations should now take notice. Aye, fat chance of that, Andrew. Fat chance of that. An email from Simon. Hi, Alec, great move. Looking forward to what you'll create in your show. Just keep watching, Simon. You're going to be surprised. AJ McKillop says, your Christmas tree doesn't have a ghost of Alex Salmond bauble. Sad for you. Why don't you take a closer look at that tree? And Pilar Amara, an interview with Alex Salmond, if it's possible in Santiago de Compostela. But if not, I have no problem travelling to Scotland. Don't worry, Pilar, I'll get to Santiago de Compostela. I'll find you. And another Christmas, this is not very festive. Fashdown says, David Davis thrown into the sea, please. Santa Salmond. Listen, I think David's a good guy. I just think he's carrying the can, working for the wrong boss. And finally, as a Christmas wish from Gazatom99, peace on earth. Well, who can quarrel with that, Gaza? Peace on earth. Now let's hear from Tasmina.
I'm in one of the great kitchens at the Principal Edinburgh George Street Hotel, where lunch is being prepared by executive chef Colin Fleming. So Colin, I understand you've got at least 200 women coming in for a special lunch today. So what's on the menu?
So we've got seared Orkney scallops, seaweed butter and some sea herbs. So we've just got to put a little bit of salt on the scallop.
And tell me, have you been cooking since you left school?
Yeah, 21 years now, so quite a long time.
And how long have you been here at the Principal Edinburgh George Street Hotel?
2 years now.
In terms of the use of Scottish produce, is that something you do
Yeah, we
here?
try very hard here to use all Scottish produce. Not all Scottish produce, but obviously we've got the best shellfish in the world, really, so just turn the scallops there.
Scallops to start with, what's next?
Well, we've got braised beef,
Okay.
Savoy cabbage, and we've got Christmas pudding, obviously this time of the year.
And it must be really busy. I mean, are you guys working constantly up to Christmas? Do you get any time off? Or?
Yeah, well, we'll try and work, if somebody works Christmas, they get New Year's off, or if somebody's, vice versa, try and split it. It's very good here because we don't work, we work 40 hours a week. It's not like the old days, you're working 70, 80 hours a week, we're championing that as much as we can.
Mm. And how are things for apprentice chefs nowadays?
We've actually got 2 apprentices started from college about 3-4 weeks ago, so that's something we're looking at to bring on board in the future, is a lot more apprentices. I think they're the future of the industry. So
if you're cooking 200 of these, which I know you are today,
yeah.
How many people are involved in that level, that amount of cooking?
There's about 5 or 6 for a function that size.
Do you never get summoned by people to speak to you about the meal?
Sometimes, yeah, but I'll send somebody else out. Yeah.
You mentioned you have a lot of people from different nationalities in the kitchen. I suppose that adds to the variety of things you can cook.
Yeah, we get input from all our different chefs, our sous chefs, our head chefs, and it's a collaboration, and we can end up with some ingredients for a different country. Yeah, definitely. We're not just predominantly, British ingredients. If something's good from somewhere else, we'll always try and use it.
I mean, who cooks for exec chefs at home? Do you cook for yourself? Do you like eating your own food?
Yes, I normally do cook for myself. My girlfriend helps me sometimes.
She a good cook?
Yeah, she's a good cook, yeah. She's not bad.
Learning.
Yeah. Going to take them off now. Don't want to overcook them because they become rubbery. So we just lightly cook them.
All right.
They're not cooked right through at the moment, so we're just going to put a little bit of seaweed butter on them now.
You just let that melt itself.
Just let it melt, yeah. And that's going to be our sauce as well, so...
I mean, these look great. I'm waiting to see you put the plate together.
Give that about a minute, should be done.
So I'm going to take this out to Alex to have a taste of, so I know he likes his fish.
Yep.
So I'm sure he'll enjoy what you prepared here.
Good.
And you're putting it into a nice shell?
Yeah, a nice shell, so it's just a scallop shell that's
Just
come
pretty.
in. We've cleaned it, boiled it. We just warm it up gently to keep, obviously, the dish warm. But just a little bit of seaweed, we just blanched and dried out a little bit. For a scallop dish, we'll try and cook it at the very last minute because obviously we don't want the scallops to overcook. Anything else we get ahead as much as we can. Just got a wee bit of sea rosemary and sea parsley in here. Just going to scatter a little bit about. It's quite fresh and vibrant.
Lovely.
There we go.
Let's see what Alex thinks of this. Shall I pretend I made it?
Yeah.
You won't tell?
No, I won't tell.
Thanks very much, Colin.
What are they concocting for all these guests?
Well, today they've got 200 women in for a lunch, so they've been very busy.
200?
But I managed to get a chat with the chef, and I brought you something back.
What have you got there?
Some scallops. Would you like to try?
Oh, of course, yes, absolutely. Look delicious.
I didn't make it myself, though.
Well, fantastic.
Not one
The
of mine.
sauce is great.
So yeah, lots going on in the kitchen's preparations for Christmas. They're really busy over the festive season here at the Principal. What's your favourite
No, you keep talking,
Christmas
I'm
dish?
eating.
What's your favourite Christmas dish, Alex?
Oh, I've mince and ties, that's me.
On Christmas Day?
No, I've never liked turkey, which is always a drawback, but what I like is a real great sirloin, something like that. So some really classic beef.
Okay. So in our household, you can now get halal turkey, which you didn't used to be able to get, but we certainly go for roast chicken on Christmas Day.
So I suppose, the thing about being a chef in a great hotel like this or working in the kitchens is while everybody else is enjoying themselves, this must be your toughest time of the year. So when do these guys get any time off? And the girls as well, of course.
Well, we'll be speaking to a chef later on, obviously, and he can tell us what it's like in the kitchen from his perspective. But they're having a good time, and they're full of the festive spirit. But it's very tense because obviously they want to prepare the very best food for all of the guests here.
And one last question. They say that kitchens, there's a real sense of drama because everything has to be just so for the guests. So there's a lot of tension behind the scenes.
All I can see is a lot of men running around preparing dishes to satisfy a number of women, and that's what I like to see in the kitchen.
That sounds good to me. And tastes good as well. Well, I think it's time to welcome our festive guest.
Let's do that.
Scotland's greatest chef, Andrew Fairlie. Our most versatile comedian, Janey Godley. And award-winning director, Jason Connery.
Happy
Christmas.
Happy Christmas. Thank you, thank you.
Well, welcome to everyone. Andrew first, Taz was in the kitchens here at the Principal Hotel. This must be a frenetic time of year for you chefs. So why are you here? How you got time off? Is everybody else doing the work?
I actually told them I was going to nip out for a quick meeting. So they will be surprised if they see this going out in there. No, but you're right, it is a crazy, crazy time of year for the hospitality industry in general. I mean, this is the time of year where, I suppose it's what you sign up for. Everybody's out, it's all Christmas parties, people having a fantastic time.
And you're slaving in the kitchen.
And we're obviously slaving in the kitchen.
And so what, you all sort of get to the first week in January and then you sort of slope off to the Bahamas or somewhere like that?
I wish. But not, actually, there's a lot of truth in that. Once the Christmas and New Year period is over, generally the hospitality industry does get together and they have a big, huge bash for a couple of days, and then hopefully January, especially in Scotland,
And who
things
does the
quieten
cooking
down.
for that?
Other hospitality people.
It's cheaper to get a Christmas night out after Christmas, of course,
Yeah.
and people have started doing that now.
And then you
Absolutely.
sleep for a month.
Exactly.
A wee nap for a month after that.
But Jason, you're not without experience in the culinary arts. I mean, I was watching some repeats of Celebrity MasterChef and...
There I
came
was,
up.
yes. I left the show a little early, unfortunately. We were talking about this early with Andrew, and I'm watching MasterChef Professional at the moment, and it is a different league, I have to say. I was making my famous, in my household, zinger sauce, and I couldn't get my fingers in, and I tapped and a great chunk of cayenne pepper fell in.
And at that moment, you realised
I knew.
you were out the kitchen.
I was. And Charlie Borman, who's a great friend of mine, who people may know from Long Way Round and Long Way Down, he did with Ewan McGregor on the motorcycles, he went on to the next round, and I never hear the end of it. I mean, you'll know what it's like with chefs. They're very competitive.
We are very competitive.
Yes.
And Jenny, reality television, I mean, would you like to go into the kitchen or into the jungle, perhaps?
No, I did one way back in 2004. I did Kings of Comedy, and it was a section of Big Brother, and I was stuck in the house with comedians, and that was quite traumatic. And now I'm in a house with comedians because my daughter's a comedian, so my entire life feels like some experiment that's already happening. So I'm coping well. No, I couldn't go into the jungle. I think I could beat Kezia in a beetle and worm eating competition, though. I'm for Shettleston. I've eaten some dodgy stuff. I've eaten pies.
What do you think about programmes like that, though, Janey, where it seems like people are being tortured into eating things they don't want to eat? I mean, my kids like the programme, but I've actually stopped them watching it because it seems that people are being put through horrible things. What do you think about the programme in general?
I think that people do enjoy. I mean, it's successful, therefore it will continue. Nobody could pay me £1 million to put a moth in my mouth. I'd die. I'm already frightened of butterflies, and they're like the kind cousins of moths. So no, I couldn't do it. I can only do something that you know is based on me talking. If you start giving me tasks, Tasmina, I can't even fill the dishwasher. I'm rubbish at tasks.
Do you think Alex should go on because he's been asked to go and I'm a celebrity?
I think he should. I think he could easily tan a spider. He's got the look of a man that could eat a spider in seconds. You do.
It's just when they start moving, you know, all over you. But I've actually even turned down Celebrity Master Chef as well. I turned down. I'm such a coward. But listen, you could be. I mean, not that I watch I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. Don't get me wrong, but you could be a treat. You see, Andrew. You know, the treat for winning one of these disgraceful, disgusting competitions could be. And tonight's meal is cooked by 2-star Michelin restaurant chef Andrew Fairlie. You fancy that?
I've never cooked a raccoon in my life, so I wouldn't even know where to start. But I think by that stage, they're so hungry that they would eat anything. So all I say is, even with the bugs, a little bit of salt would go a long way.
Bulk, it's a bug.
Well, you could go the other way and you could actually take one of the insects or like the camel penis or whatever it is, kangaroo penis that they use.
You have been watching
you know, I have to say I have watched it recently, and you could actually, like, you could make this perfect meal that tastes fantastic, but is in fact something hideous.
I'm not sure Andrew would do that. Is that your thing, Andrew? Would you, with that challenge? Perhaps not.
I think good cooks could even cook a camel penis and make it look tender and appetising.
Well, I want to move.
Prawns already beasties.
Exactly.
Beasties.
I want to move the conversation away from camels' penises just for a second. There's plenty for us to talk about. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Here's what people have been saying about Redacted tonight. Give it to us. Redacted is full-on awesome. The only show I go out of my way to watch every week. It really packs a punch. Lee Camp is the John Oliver of RT America.
You have the same accent.
Hey, we are apparently better than boobs.
Nothing's better than boobs.
You see, people you've never heard of love Redacted tonight. The president of the World Bank, though, hates it.
He doesn't really have any taste.
Seriously, he sent us an email.
I've played for many clubs over the years, so I know the game inside out. Football isn't only about what happens on the pitch or the final score. It's about the passion from the fans. It's the age of the super manager, billionaire owners, and spending 220 million on one player. But it's an experience like nothing else on earth. And because I want to share what I think and what I know about the beautiful game, I agreed to one more transfer. And this is my new team.
Well, welcome back to this festive edition of the Alex Salmond Show. Taz and I are here with our special Christmas guests, Andrew Fairlie, Janey Godley and Jason Connery. I want to talk about your big breaks, you know. I mean, obviously, award-winning director now, Jason, but one of your earliest film roles was in a Doctor Who episode with Colin Baker I don't remember.
I'm sure you don't watch that either. Yes, it was called Vengeance on Varos, and I was playing John Dar, who was a rebel. And it's come up recently because it was all centered around a community that watched reality TV, and I made it 30 years ago, so there was no reality TV, and they voted, but in this case they voted for the person to be tortured more, which some might say Celebrity Master Chef and Get Me Out of Here is actually... Well, so now people are saying, wow, that program was so forward-thinking. But when I see my performance in it, it's actually I'm very, very earnest.
And Janey, starting out in a comedienne, it's a much tougher gig than a comedian, isn't it? I mean...
No. There isn't,
no, it's
really.
right, okay, it's not a tougher gig.
It's not. I think there is differences. As a female stand-up, when you come on stage, you have to quickly assure an audience you can be funny. Whereas men can stand on stage and not speak, and the audience will go, oh, it's cool, it's a man. He's going to be funny.
That is exactly like politics, Janey.
That's exact same.
A woman will stand up in a political forum and know that she has to be better than everyone else because she's judged by different standards than men do. It's interesting that the same thing applies to comedy.
The other difference is, and I have noticed this, if I do good on stage, when I come off, none of the men go, oh, high five, oh, yay. They actually go, we hate you. Men are annoyed that I've done well, whereas if a male stand-up goes up and he's rubbish, he's up there giving it, oh, who here's lost a bobble hat, and it's not even funny, and he comes off, his friends are all high-fit, and I'm like, he was rubbish. So there's a culture where when women come off stage and they've done a really good job, none of the men will go, oh, cool, Janey, they all just go, I hate working with her, that's the difference.
But what about your first stand-up breakthrough performance, when you were waiting to see if anybody laughed or trying to find out if there was... But what was that moment like?
I think that was in a pub that I owned in the Carlton years ago.
Well,
that's where I learned in my skills. I owned a pub in the roughest part of Glasgow, and I remember my very first night in the pub, which was like my very first night in stand-up. And this wee man came in and he had scars all over his face, and he was really drunk. I mean, he was gone. He wobbled in, like that, and I'm like, oh, he's a jelly deal, that's lovely. And he said, give me a drink. I went, I'm sorry, you're too drunk. He said, do you want a sore face? And I said, why, are you giving that one away? And I thought, oh, maybe patter's good. So then you being the only female in a really male-dominated area, the Carlton, for 15 years, any gig after that is a breeze.
So you developed reality television, you developed female assertiveness. Andrew, how about that first meal that you cooked when you were the head chef and you had to perform? What was that like?
I think by the time you get to head chef, you should be good anyway, so I don't think I've ever felt any real pressure.
You were the first Roux scholar.
Well, I think probably if you're talking about big breaks, and I think everybody at some point in any career, you need a sliding door moment where it takes you in a direction that you take advantage of. And I think probably the Roux scholarship was mine, but as a very young chef, winning the Roux scholarship where I could choose as a young Scottish chef any restaurant in France to go and work in, it just was unheard of at that time.
You must have cooked for some celebrities. I know you have in your time, Andrew. Who would you like to divulge, and what are their interesting eating habits or requirements?
Yeah, I have cooked for lots and lots of famous people, not necessarily celebrities in the sense of celebrities. I've cooked for world leaders. I've cooked for, David Bowie for me was one of my favourite ones, where he was an absolutely charming man, a beautiful man, very charismatic man, and he was a real foodie. So he was probably one of the celebrities or leaders that I had most enjoyment out of, meant most to me. The G8 was a huge one at Gleneagles, obviously, with all the world leaders, the Queen's Banquet and all the rest of it.
Who was the most fussy?
The most fussy was probably the Japanese Prime Minister at the time, purely because of his diet. It didn't lend itself to dairy, etc., etc. So the menus were all chosen very carefully in advance, so we knew that we had to adapt the menu to his diet. So probably that was the most awkward one. But generally, they just ate what they were given.
I could have made him a special burnt toddy scone.
And an oatcake.
Oh, that's Scottish oatcake.
Let's talk about Tommy's Honour. I mean, this has been an award-winning film. It's a fantastic film. But it's about more than, not more than golf, because obviously golf is life itself, but it's about relationships, isn't it? It's about the father-son relationship. It's about the inequalities in in the Victorian era, class prejudices. So tell us a bit about, what made you do this film?
Well, I read the book, and I was amazed, because I have a little place down in the Borders, and I've been to St Andrews quite often, and I'd seen, this is Tom Morris, who was considered the sort of patron saint of the beginning of the modern game of golf in St Andrews. And his son was a 24-year-old, I perhaps shouldn't give the end of the film away, but it's a tragic tale, but also a beautiful story between a father and son, and in fact between a young man and his wife. And to me, there were so many layers in the story. You have the strength of the church in the community, you have the upper and lower class, you have a son trying to forge his own way in life, and having a father who's enormously well known and respected. And then just the sense of the wheel of time turning, and taking the mantle from the father. So it's a beautiful story.
And has your dad seen the film, and what did he say about it?
He has seen the film, and it was lovely. It was a beautiful time for me, because the film was invited to the Bahamian Film Festival, and my father lives in Bahamas. So he actually took a golf cart to the showing, which was fun, with the whole family all in the golf cart. And they came and saw the film, and what was lovely for me was at the end he said to me, he loved the film, and he said, for me, as soon as the story started, I was there, I was in it, and if you can tell a story and people can be invested in the place and the people, that's, for me, that's what it's about.
That's quite something.
Yeah, so it was lovely.
Jason,
yes.
What did you buy your dad for Christmas, and what have you asked him to get you?
Last year I got him a club, a golf club, but a special club which was very, very lightweight, and he actually got a hole-in-one. My brother and I bought the club for him. Yeah,
So
about 6 months ago, and on a par 3.
You don't have another club?
I've never had a hole-in-one. This was his 6th hole-in-one. And he had it, and he hit it, and of course that was it,
But I mean,
he's 87.
You've set the bar so high. He's going to be expecting.
I'll get him slippers this year.
So what? I was going to say, so slippers this year or something else?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I've still to decide.
Got a few days left.
I have a few days.
And Janey, come on.
What's
going to be your big Christmas present?
Well, this will be the first year I'll be celebrating Christmas without my wee dad, who passed away this year. And you're talking about your dad, mate. But no, he had a good long life. And so this year I'll be going round to the care home that my dad was in, and I'll help out in there for the day, because I feel him in there.
And Andrew, I mean, do you cook for the family at Christmas, Hams?
I do. It's I've just become a grandfather as well, so I've got a little granddaughter, so it's her first Christmas, my first Christmas, so all the family's coming round this Christmas, and it's no turkey, it's beef by popular demand. I just cook what I'm told. So no, I'm really, really looking forward to Christmas this year.
Well, I've got a surprise for you all. Now, I can't get you golf clubs that guarantee you holes in one, but I can give you a quake.
Oh my God, thank you.
You have to supply your own whiskey, guys.
Wow.
Sorry
Thank
about
you.
that.
Beautiful.
It's rules, television rules. I'm not allowed to give you. Otherwise I would, of course.
Oh, that's
Well, I have
beautiful.
a wee dram to put in there, so I'm happy to use it. Thank you.
Andrew, Janey and Jason, thank you so much for coming on the Alex Salmond Show, and Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry Christmas.
And to all of our viewers, a very Merry Christmas from us all.
But perhaps, before we go, just one last message. It is, after all, the season to be jolly.
Hello. It's been a hell of a year. Trump, Brexit, the election, Scotland's World Cup campaign. At times like these, I say, count your blessings. It makes no bloody difference. Despite the odd setback, I try to maintain a cheerful disposition. It was at university I realised I could go down in history And then I went down in geography, French and maths as well. I did win the life and work competition to the World Cup in Russia next year. A weekend in Vladivostok and £200 spending money, or 6 rubles. 6 rubles to the pound, I inquired. No, after Brexit, 6 is your lot. The very Reverend Putin has signed me up for his new television show. Songs of praise, I inquired. No, just the praise, came the reply. Across the presbytery of our great city of Edinburgh, things are definitely looking up. Recently, I was asked to speak to the Women's Guild in Edinburgh's great port of Leith. I decided to go shopping for my Christmas presents. Is there a B&Q in Leith? I inquired of a friendly local. Nah, but there's an L and an H, came the reply. Anyway, there's still a lot to be thankful for. Outlander on catch-up, half-time at Tynecastle Park, Kezia's Out the Jungle, Theresa May's P45, and The Road out of Glasgow. It's a worry. And so in these dark days, we turn for comfort. To the Gospel. Caledonians, chapter 20:14, verse 45. And God said, let us smite down these Tory Philistines. Let us win another referendum and help us not to be such tubes next time round. Merry Christmas, and may God go with you.
Still the night, holy the night, sleeps the world hid from sight. Mary and Joseph in stable bare, watch o'er the child beloved and fair.